Thank you for your interest in this Geotech Center demonstration video on creating a map series. My name is Wing Cheung, and I'm a professor of Geography and GIS at Palomar College. In this video, you'll learn how to create a basic layout in ArcGIS Pro, then create a spatial map series or map book. And lastly, you'll learn how to export that map series as a PDF file. If you wish to follow the demonstration, please download and unzip this file at this address to your storage device before viewing the demonstration. So what is a spatial map series? It is essentially a map book which shows a small subset of your study area on each map page. For example, you can create a map book or map series of the world, and each page or each map page may center on one of the continents in the world. As another example, and also the background for this demonstration, the Escondido Creek Conservancy wants us to divide its properties at Alphen Forest into map pages in order to more systematically assign its workers to inspect trees on its properties for wood-boring beetles infestation. I should also note that you should include map elements like scale bars or north arrow or other relevant information on each map page. Some of these elements could be static or unchanging from one page to another. For example, author information. Other elements could be dynamic and update as you go from one page to another. For example, page number. As you can see in this graphic here, we may start off with some data, and then we'll overlay it with an index grid, which I'll show you how to create in this demonstration video. And then we'll generate these map pages, right, where the data frame or the map frame on each page center on the data within a specific grid in the index layer. So now let's start with part one of this demonstration video, which is creating a basic layout in ArcGIS Pro. To do that, we need to first start ArcGIS Pro. I'll start with a blank project and just call this map series demo. Once that is done, I'm going to insert a new map. And then I'm going to add in the data that I'm going to use. And this is the data that, as I've said previously, you should download from the Google Drive if you wish to follow along in this demonstration and unzip that file. So here it is. And what we're going to see is a raster layer that shows the study area that we're interested in for this demo. It's a very small subset of the Alphen Forest Reserve that's maintained by the Escondido Creek Conservancy. So here's the study area. And like I said, in this first part of this demonstration video, we're just going to create a simple layout. So we go to Insert and go to Create a new layout. I'm going to use a landscape layout, and then I'll add in a map frame. Here we are. And if we wish to zoom closer to our drone photo, which is being shown in this raster layer, we can go to the contents pane as I just did and zoom to layer. There we have it. And like I also said before, we can add in some basic static map elements that is unchanging from one map page to another. So in this case, I'm just going to add in a title, because regardless of which map page we're going to be looking at, that map page is still going to be showing us information of Alphen Forest Reserve. It's just the different parts of the Alphen Forest Reserve. Okay. And then I can also add in other elements, and just for the sake of time, I'm just going to add in some sample map elements here. And then maybe also author information. Right, remember, these are information that are going to be unchanging from one map page to another. Okay, so let's just use that as a sample layout. Now that we're done with part one, building that basic layout, we can move on to part two, which is creating that spatial map series, which is really the main topic of this demonstration video. So here, back in ArcGIS Pro, I need to first create a grid to divide the study area up, as you recall from the previous graphic in the presentation. So go to Analysis and go to Tools and look for the Grid Index Features tool. It's going to ask us to specify the location for this grid that we're creating, which I'm going to put in my project's geodatabase and just call it grid. The input feature basically defines the extent of the entire study area. So I'm going to select ortho. And then here we can specify what is the width and height of each of the grid cells that we're creating. So just for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to put 0.1 or 0.01 miles for width and 0.01 miles for height. And you can see the number of rows and number of columns in that grid is automatically updated as we change the width and height information here. So click Run. And you can see we have a grid that is now built that coincide with the entire extent of our study area. I'm going to change the symbology of the grid so that we can still see what is behind the grid boxes. So to do that, I can double click on the symbol. And I'm going to just change it to a black outline here. And you can see, basically we just created a grid that divided the study area into these boxes. The next thing that we need to do is to actually create the map series. So to do that, we're going to go back to the Layout tab, go to Map Series, and click on Spatial here. And the map frame, right, is basically the map frame that is in our layout. the layer to use as the grid, right, is the layer that we created with the previous tool called grid. And then here we'll define what field will provide the name for each of the map pages. And in this case, I'm going to name each of the page in my map book or map series using the page number. The page number is automatically generated when I ran that grid index features tool previously. And I'm also going to select page number here and click OK. You can see, even though it's center each of the map page on an individual grid box, right, we may want the page to zoom in closer to each of the boxes. So we can go back to the map series tool, go to Spatial, and in this case, under map extent, I'll change the scale to a larger scale so that it zooms closer, so each of the map page zooms closer into the content of each of the grid boxes. There you are. And lastly, I may want to add in dynamic map elements, such as the page number. So you can see here, I can add in a page number information. Since this is a dynamic map element, this will update as I go from one map page to another. Now that we have finished part 2 of the demonstration video, which is creating the map series, we can move on to part 3, which is exporting all those map pages that we just made as part of the map series as a PDF file. So back in ArcGIS Pro, click on the Share tab and go to Layout. Here we can specify the name. Make sure that the type is selected as PDF here. Resolution is 150 or higher resolution if you so desire. And click on Export Options. Click on the Map Series tab and make sure that it is exporting all of our map pages, all 104 of them. And I'm going to click Export here. And you can see each of those boxes, each of those grid boxes, is now going to have its own page. And since there were 104 boxes that were generated with the tools that we ran previously, we should have 104 map pages in our map series. So we'll let this tool run, and I'll circle back when it is done and show you the final product. So it looks like our tool has completed. And here's the PDF file. And you can see here, if I scroll to other pages, you can see how the page information is automatically updated because it's a dynamic text. And basically, here I have 104 pages as a part of this map series. And this concludes our presentation on creating a map series. Please go to the Geotech Center website for more demonstration videos, and you can also find other valuable resources on that same website. Thank you very much for your interest in this demonstration video.